Let's go.
Hello, internets. Here we are for another night of Mysteries at the Dalelands. Welcome, everybody. My name is Scott. I am the Wily Hobbit, and this is my Twitch channel, and I'm so happy that you're here. And apparently, I'm now a legend, so that's very exciting. I've never been a legend before. I hope that I am able to live up to whatever being legendary is all about. But yeah, so we'll see how that works out. But we have D&D tonight, 5th edition. We're in Faerun, near and in and around the Dalelands. The campaign is based in Dagger Falls. And the last time we were here hanging out, thank you for the follow, Implacable Lemon. Thank you very much. Last time we played was last Monday, and the party is headed home. They've secured their quarry, which is a young man named Spurnick, a member of the Cult of the Dragon, who is wanted back in Dagger Falls for some thievery, for stealing some valuable and old tomes. And the party's job was to go find him. Unfortunately for the party, however, they found a lot more than I think they might have been expecting. They found a buried ancient temple that was the home of a sect of druids who worshipped dragons centuries ago. And within that temple were some nasty undeads and an ancient reliquary that the mage thought it might be a nice idea to just flip the door open and see what's in there. And they were confronted with a grisly, gruesome, horrifying sight of three significantly nasty undeads that were guarding this relic, a huge, like the size of a shield, huge scale of a dragon, runes all over it, just kind of floating above this red altar in this reliquary. But the party thought better of trying to take the relic, and they beat feet out of there. And about the time they were congratulating themselves on their quick thinking and smart decisions, and they were drifting off to sleep, a group of friends found the party encamped around the entrance to the temple. Friends, yes. And it turns out that the Zentarum seem to have interests in what the party is up to. They tried to make off with the party's prisoner, but Rue pulled the leader of this. I'm not sure if it was a reconnaissance group or just a small sort of military detachment or whatever, but Rue took it upon himself to have a quick conversation with their leader, a rather intimidating looking half-elven female. And whatever was said, and Rue had a way of getting them to go away and leave them alone. So they kind of made a little deal, and Rue was able to keep the prisoner with the party. And so the party, long story short, is back on their way home. While on the road, this is just a trade road that runs parallel to the Tesh River between the Dragonspine Mountains and Dagger Falls. And along the road, not too long ago, just a few short hours ago, Gears found a gleaming item in the middle of the road, and it turned out to be the badge of the Zentarum. It has the flying snake symbol upon it. The head of the snake was pointed eastward along the road. The tail was pointed westward in the direction the party is traveling. And so they picked that badge up and took it with them. And there was a couple of runes on the back of the badge. And we're to the point now where the party is making camp for the night. This is the first of 4.5 days or so on the road back to Dagger Falls. And they found a campsite that they had used on their way into the Temple of the Scale. And so before we start our adventure for this evening, let's go around the table and introduce the characters. So we'll start with Gears. Why don't you tell us who you are and what you're playing? And exciting news, they've leveled up to level 3, so don't look at that 2 on the scrolling artwork. I'll get that fixed before the next stream, but we're all 3rd level now. So Gears, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Dave Hay Wilson on the interwebs, and I'm playing Gears, a Warforged fighter. They have leveled up to level 3, as Wiley mentioned, and they are now a battle master, complete with specialized maneuvers. So I'm looking forward to trying those out and having a nice, quiet shopping expedition, maybe.
Battle, you
It's to a
say?
mutually exclusive.
We don't do combat here. This is a melodrama. Yeah, very nice. All right, Ronvin.
Yeah, Ronvin is, since she's an artificer, she went with infiltrator. That was the word where she can now make power armor, and she can shoot lightning out of her glove, which she thinks is really cool. And she got a little bit more proficiency with more tools. So that's going to be very, very interesting. And I guess maybe on some point she can give Penny Swoops a little bit more functionality.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah.
Leveling up is good. All right, excellent. Algernon.
Hi, I'm Manny, at Grotto Geeks on the social media. I'll be playing Algernon Altano, a divination wizard who, without formal instruction, may get into a little bit of trouble.
That never happens. Never. Can't imagine it. Fragile.
I was left unsupervised.
And look what happened.
Yeah, I'm Fragile Gemcasi, and I am an Asimar of the Raven Queen. I'm also a Hexblade of the Raven Queen. She's kind of my world. And I'm kind of in a emotional quandary at this point, because undead are anathema to me. They're the biggest abomination ever, and I just experienced my first real undead, and I'm trying to process that. So
Yeah.
Fragile might be a little quiet to start out, but it's just because she's in commune with her goddess.
Nice. Well, I hope you sort that out. Yeah, that's what I hope.
Oh, she will.
Very good. All right, Rue.
Hey everyone, I'm Andrew, and I'm playing Rue Shahar tonight, the sneaky rogue with the fast tongue and slightly more inquisitive than he was last session.
Nice.
Slightly more inquisitive. I see what you did there. Nice. Does that have anything to do with your leveling up by any chance?
Maybe. Just a
Maybe.
bit.
Possibly. We'll see. All right. Last but not least, in the upper right corner, Calavera.
Hi, I'm Paige. I am playing Calavera tonight, and she is a Fire Ganassi Grave Cleric that has not changed. Not a lot's changed, actually. It's the fun of playing a cleric. You get to pick out all your details at first level and then don't have to think about it.
Makes it simple. You
And
just get more power,
You
right?
know what? Yeah, she's been having a time.
Well, that tells me
Yeah.
I'm doing my job then. If my players are having
Oh.
a time, then I think the DMing is going pretty well. Excellent. So we are a Theater of the Mind little troupe here, so you won't see a lot of technology and maps. Two reasons for that. One is I'm just not great with Roll20, and two, I'm incredibly lazy. And I'd rather devote my preparation efforts to narrative and story and death and suffering. Narrative and story. And so we use real dice and all that cool stuff. And then secondly, if you would like to help these people, not that they're going to need any help at all, I'm sure it'll be fine. But I will drop a couple of messages in chat. If you want to support the team, you can donate some bits to get them an additional +2 to any D20 roll aside from a death save. And if you donate even more bits, you can give them a straight up reroll. And you can give that to a party member, just to the party in general, or you could give it to your favorite Hobbity DM. So let's go ahead and start the game. Any questions? Anyone? No? Okay. Let's go ahead and get this thing going. It's evening time. It's dark. You're up away from the road, the trail proper. And again, what you're on is not much more than a wagon rut trade road. It's not a main thoroughfare. It's not a stone or dirt road even. It's grass with some wagon ruts. If you had two wagons or carts coming, one would have to move over, the other one would have to move over, and it would be a bit of a it's a thin way to go, or narrow way to go, I should say. And you're actually probably 300 yards to the north of the road. South of the road, just a few hundred yards away, you can hear the rush of the Tesh River. But you're up above the road in a nice defensible kind of a stand of trees, pines, maples, aspens. It's very gravelly, stony, if you recall. Some grass here and there, but it's pretty much you're in a kind of a nice little copse of trees on top of a hillock, and that is where we will open our scene.
What time of day is it? Is it the morning or?
Yeah, did we just have a long rest?
It is evening time, so you're about to approach your long rest, basically.
Okay.
So we've been up for like 36 hours.
Yeah, you're all kind of short
Excuse me.
a little bit on the energy department because you've had quite a long day. You were up all night last night.
Yeah,
Well,
I guess we'll set and make camp, fire, little fire and everything. Is Spurnick being cooperative?
He's pretty quiet. He seems to kind of resigned himself to the fact that he's going back to Dagger Falls, despite his efforts to convince you in particular. He still kind of gives you the eye, maybe just looking for your sign that, whatever it is you have planned for him. But he, that kind of went on most of the day, and he's just kind of resigned himself to the fact that, probably not happening.
Well, he should be happy we didn't let him go with the others.
Yeah, I mean, could have been worse. So Al's just going to sit by the fire, kind of keep looking at Spurnick, but he's going to be very deep into his spell book.
And for mechanics' sake, tomorrow morning, should there be a tomorrow morning, I should say, I don't want to guarantee anything, but that's when your level up would actually kick in as far as that goes. So what are the rest of you doing? We have Al at the fire reading his spell book. What else is going on?
Fragile is going to take care of Clover and make sure that she's groomed and fed, and she's probably going to wander off outside of the range of the firelight.
Okay.
And do some Fragile-esque stuff.
Mm-hmm. Seems reasonable. It's been a day for Gili. You've, as you alluded to in your intro, you've run into your arch nemesis creature type, if you will, and it's been a little jarring. Nothing really prepares you for that. So yeah. What of the rest of you?
Well, Ronvin is still trying to convince Gears to let her put that gem in his armor so she can make his armor stronger. Which in the abilities would be to infuse the item, and up the defense. We'll just have to see if he will let me do that after our long rest.
Chelsea.
Elsa might have to show off, the lightning bolts that she can now shoot. Maybe that will, I mean, if we had any heavy armor, I could actually turn it into my power armor, because now I can wear heavy armor, but I don't think we found any heavy armor. Especially not that we drug with us.
Right. That is correct.
So yeah, that's what she's doing. Trying to talk Gears into letting her get out her smithing and jeweler tools and put that pretty gem on his chest and upgrade his armor.
Okay.
In the meantime, Gears is spending his time avoiding having this happen on the road and keeping an eye on Spurnick.
Okay. Yeah, you
Just
all
to
have
say he's
him.
very unsubtle. They're unsubtle about it.
Yeah, you all have him. I'm assuming still wrists still bound. Obviously, he's been able to walk, but he's not giving anybody any trouble.
I think now that we stopped and we're like, settle down for the night. Gallivere is actually going to make sure that he does get some food.
Okay.
And everything. And she'll I think she will let him be with his wrists unbound so he can eat and everything.
Okay.
But she's staying by them. Partially, it's partially a keeping watch, partially making sure that nothing happens to him, sort of deal.
Okay. That is easily enough accomplished. And Rue, what might you be doing?
I think I'm just sitting by the fire, just kind of staring into it and probably poking at it with a stick a little bit and trying not to nod off yet.
Yeah, that's fair. It's probably 9:30, 10 o'clock, so it's just the tail end of twilight. The sun setting in the direction of your travels in the west. It's a clear night. The crickets and things, the little fauna of the evening are starting to make their presence felt, but it's a quiet evening. Absolutely. I would assume you all probably make some dinner. Spurnick doesn't really say much at all. He kind of nods Calavera when you unbind his wrists, and he kind of rubs them a little bit, and he takes whatever food you offer and just nods and doesn't really say anything.
And then I guess we're going to go in the same order for watch, as always.
Yeah, what are your what is your watch order?
It's me and Ronvin first.
Okay.
Then I think it's Rue and Frigili, and then Gears and Calavera, right? If we're doing our usual watch.
Yep, works for me.
I assume you're probably going to do 3-hour watches. That'll get you 9 hours. That'll make sure everybody gets a good 6-hour long rest. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
If permitted, and Spurnick will just try this once he's done eating and all that, he'll get up and move to his own, not away or off or making a break for any, attempted escape or anything, but just, it looks like he's going to curl up for the night by himself, kind of to one end of whatever camp you have. Just picture, a lot of pine duff. There's some tall grasses here and there between the trees, and it's mostly aspens and pines, a few maples. It's just a nice little kind of stand of trees. It almost, after the day you've had, it kind of lifts your spirits to be up here. There's been some blue jays chattering and screeching about in the trees. There's been, you've seen a few squirrels and rabbits, and it's just a much more pleasant setting than what you were sitting in a mere 24 hours ago. And so, Al and Ronvin, if you want to each roll perception since you're on watch, I presume the rest of you are just going to kind of sack out. Is that right?
Ooh, right.
Yeah. Much needed.
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody's got any 18. Okay. Nobody has any levels of exhaustion, but you're whipped. You're tired. Ronvin, how did you do on your perception?
12.
12. Okay. So Ronvin, you're whatever it is that you're doing, nothing seems to enter your consciousness other than everything I've described. It's just a pleasant evening. It's dark, beautiful, starry, clear night. I presume you've probably let the fire burn down pretty low. Algernon, Al, as you're sitting there, I assume you're, maybe backs are to one another, so you can each get a good view of 180 degrees. The only thing you notice is a pair of squirrels racing around the boughs of a few of the pine trees are kind of close together on one side of your sleeping circle, and that's all you've got with your 18 perception, is you've just been able to kind of focus on those two squirrels running around up there.
Nice. Take it.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're on the road, that's a good kind of watch.
Yeah,
Yeah, so your 3 hours pass quite uneventfully. So I don't know if there's any conversation you want to have or any role play, or if not, we'll have you wake up Rue and Fragile.
Al's going to be exhausted and just go right to sleep after waking up everybody and making sure that they're good to go.
That seems fair. So, Rue, Al comes to wake you. Fragile also.
Yep.
Yeah, Rudy's
Can't wait
definitely
for-
rubbing his eyes pretty hard. Oh, man. Need about 10 more hours, but...
Fragile. We just need this middle shift. This sucks. We need to get home.
Just close my eyes, I feel like. But yeah, I'll get up and actually I'll dig around in my pack and pull out the last 2 cupcakes from Dagger Falls, and I'll offer one to Fragile.
She's like, oh, is that what I think it is?
Sugar Rush will keep you up for a little while at least.
Gosh, you are heaven sent. And she's gonna
Cupcakes are heaven sent.
gladly accept it. She's actually gonna like turn away from the others just a little bit, even though they're sleeping, to make sure they don't see her eating the cupcake, so she doesn't feel guilty. She knows how much Ronvin really loved him, but she's still gonna eat the whole cupcake.
Yeah. How are you doing, Fragile? You're
So
quiet
I'm
today.
struggling a little bit. She said, I was in a rage because I've always been taught, the worst thing in the world that you can do is raise an undead. And I was pretty sure that Spurnick was the one that raised him when we were in the first room. But I don't know. I just, after seeing how easily we beat them and seeing the powerful undead in that room, I think I got it totally wrong. So I feel a little bad about shoving a undead, crusted gag in his mouth. But at the time, it seemed like the right thing to do. So now I'm questioning my judgment. And I'm glad that I didn't do something rash, and that he's going to see the Lord's justice and not my not quite wise decision, or to my justice.
For what it's worth, I get where you're coming from. Undead or an abomination. I would not have minded ending those things. On the other hand, better to have them between whoever might want that scale, and better that than not, I guess.
Well, I think cooler heads prevailed, and I think that somebody back in Dagger Falls needs to know what's in there.
Agreed.
So my goddess doesn't have temples here on your plane of existence. I guess our plane of existence now. But I'm sure that there are other goodly orders that would want to eradicate such an evil.
You say you grew up learning about hating undead and following the Raven Queen?
Yeah, she's my mother. So
literal mother?
Well, not my literal mother, but all of us Asmar have a spark of our god or goddess in us, and I have my spark of the Raven Queen in me. And so I feel like I can commune with her. I feel like I can. I don't know. I don't know what the word is. It's not necessarily talking. It's just feelings and emotions. And she's my mother in my brain. My real mom's, she went back home. She's far, far west of here now. So I guess I have a biological mother and a spiritual mother. What about you? Where are you from, Rue?
Well, I grew up in Neverwinter. Since then, I've been just traveling around to different places, finding things to sell, finding things to buy that I can resell, just getting around.
So, do they have undead in Neverwinter?
In the city?
Well, I don't know. I felt like the rest of you reacted a lot more calmly and rationally to their presence than I did.
I mean, if an undead ever came into Neverwinter, it would have been dealt with by the guard. I guess I see it kind of like those whatever those things were that we killed by the cave with the sheep. They're dangerous and awful because they kill without discrimination, and they needed to be dealt with.
I have a lot of communing to do. I guess that's why I'm not a cleric and I'm a caster. I'm a warrior for the Raven Queen, because I don't know that I always excuse me. I don't know that I always process what she's telling me as wisely as some of the clergy that were back in my home city.
Did you spend a lot of time with clergy?
They were around constantly. It was kind of hard to miss them. So I don't know that I went out of my way to spend time with them. The more they came looking for me because of my heritage. It was almost like I was a totem or a good luck charm for them. So casting bones, let's go inspect Fragile and see what we can find out today.
So you're praying and whatnot is sort of a born thing? Like this is just an Asimar thing, for lack of a better phrase?
Oh yeah. I didn't need any priest or clergy member to tell me who my mother was. There's never been a doubt since before I could speak.
Yeah, I think my mother would have liked you.
So what do you think about this Spurnick guy? Do you think Manny's trying to let him go?
Al?
Or sorry, Algernon is trying to let him go.
I think Algernon would see him hang just for the way he treats books. Maybe not.
You know what? Now that you said that, it might not be that far from the truth.
No, I don't think he wants to let Spurnick go. I think the books and the learning are more of his priority, but I don't see him letting Spurnick go.
Do you think that there's something wrong with me?
Wrong with you?
That I really want to see him hang for what he did?
Rue looks down at the ground. No, I don't. I don't think there's anything wrong with you. What he did was evil, and it wound up getting somebody killed.
I tell you a secret. I don't think Calavera likes me. I think she's like kind and gentle, and I didn't grow up in a society that was kind and gentle. So I'm gonna have to process all that, and maybe I need to learn to be a little bit more like Taurillians, Ferunians. I'm not sure what you guys are called.
I don't know. I just never thought about it. I can't say I've been to any other planes. As for Calavera, I think you should talk to her about it. I don't know that I would necessarily say she doesn't like you.
Well, we'll see how it goes, but I still want to see him hang. And when I say see him, I mean I literally want to see him hang.
I don't, but I can see why you would.
I know that Tie Beam did the actual killing, but that poor innocent constable's family is now without him for the rest of their life. It's a pain that's never going to go away. Micah's wife and his kids are going to spend the rest of their lives in mourning. Anyways, it's probably getting close to time to wake up the others. And if I don't sleep, I might fall down.
Yeah, I definitely feel that.
All right. Yeah, you can wake up Calavera and Gears for their sunrise shift. Because while they're on watch, the sun should come up.
Yay.
Towards the end of their shift. Assuming there was going to be a tomorrow.
You stop that.
Well, if there's not, we know who to blame.
Right, yeah. So Gears and Calavera, you are roused out of a deep slumber. You were really sleeping hard, sleeping fitfully in the fresh air.
Calavera was. Gears was.
Calavera was. Calavera's sleeping for the both of them right now.
Gears will just load up their crossbow and keep it trained on Spurnick so he doesn't try to run off, because I think we've loosely tied him, if nothing else.
Yep.
And they're just otherwise fussing with at the new scimitar that we found. and looking it over and really examining it and comparing it to what they have built in.
Yeah. The metal's different, but this scimitar is really, really well made. And I believe Ronvin identified it already, if I'm not mistaken, or Al, somebody did. So you do know that it does have magical enchantment. Mechanically, it's a +1 scimitar. But it's a beautiful blade.
So as they're sitting there with this blade, and Calavera is either paying attention to the outer world or just yawning off.
Yeah.
You'll notice that Gears is sitting there with their left arm blade extended, and they're carefully maneuvering it and opening up parts of their arm, if you will, to expose what you might assume to be the inner workings of how the blade retracts into the forearm and shoots back out. And they're comparing the size and length of the magic blade to their own and determining how the basket and hilt work with this magic blade to see if something can be done to possibly incorporate it, because as they work on this, and it's almost like they're concentrating on it. You see the skin almost literally ripple away slowly, and it might seem unseemly on a normal creature to see skin and flesh just sort of peel and ripple and pull away, but in this case you actually see what's happening is what you thought was sort of rippled skin is not, and it loosens and sags, and what you see on their arm is actually very strongly resemblant of chainmail that has loosened and come apart where with intention as to how they're reaching to the point where the mechanisms that make the blade slide in and out are now exposed, and they're just carefully working on these small tools, releases, catches, and somehow even just native little grabbing pieces that hold everything in place. And you don't really see much of what's inside. They're doing this by the firelight with a bit of light, but it's not that bright, and there's not a great deal of detail there. And as they do this, they take that blade out and compare it to the magic blade for size, length, weight, thickness, breadth, and also looking a bit maybe forlornly at the basket and hilt and handle, because the blade that has come out looks like it could be fitted with a hilt and handle and basket. It does not currently have any of those features that you would expect to find on a normal handheld weapon with a guard and that sort of fun stuff. And they're looking at the magic scimitar and sort of testing, not too hard, the basket on the hilt and handle to see how they might be able to take it off. And through the night, as it gets closer to morning, they start reassembling themselves, if you will, as they put the magic scimitar down, unless we have an interruption that Wiley hasn't planned for yet, and start reincorporating it, the blade back into their forearm with smooth clicks. They take a bit of oil and a bit of grease and just sort of lubricate the whole mechanism again, just as a matter of like they're doing this with such practiced ease. They're not uncomfortable with this. This is just something that they do day in and day out. They just haven't had a chance to really do it yet because they spent a lot of their own time hiding.
Mm-hmm.
Roll perception.
So as they've done this, we'll roll perception.
Roll perception. While you're doing this, yeah.
Ah, yes.
14 plus 3 is 17 for Gears.
Ah, yes. Just as usual. 4 plus 3 is a 7.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. So Calavera, what are
Yeah, 'cause
you?
I think Calavera is.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what are
I
you
think
doing
she
while
is
he's doing
distracted
this?
watching
Yeah,
this.
nice.
I I think she is watching this, but she doesn't really ask any questions or speak up. She's just like quietly curious as to all of this because we've already established that she knows a decent amount about like medicine and stuff and how the humanoid bodies work. This is something completely different, and so she's just really fascinated looking. She's like in her head, she's like comparing things. There's like a side by side, circle all the things that are different, like sort of thing going on. So I think she's really just kind of focused on that.
Okay. Um. So Gears, you've got your scimitar blade off, and you're fiddling and lubricating and cleaning the various little mechanisms in your arm. Calavera's really deeply engrossed in what's happening. And you look up, and standing in front of you near the fire, looking also down at your arm, is a humanoid of slight stature, rather greenish skin, like leafy greenish skin. And in fact, rather than being clothed, it's more clad in bark and mosses and leaves, some twigs sticking out here and there. So they're covered. This one that's looking closely at your mechanism, if I guess is male. There are three others kind of behind it, sort of standing there looking very curious, almost as if they belong there. Very matter-of-fact looks on their faces. And the one nearest to you looks up and regards you. Oh, that is wonderful machine. Oh, hello. You are Gears, I believe. And you must be
Indeed.
Calavera. Oh. And he kind of steps back, and the other three smile and nod. And there's three females, easily enough to determine. But they too are various different types of bark and mosses and lichen adorn them in all the places they should be covered. Bare legs and arms, bare upper chest, face. Their hair doesn't seem to be hair. It appears to be leaves and sticks. And they seem very peaceful, but incredibly curious. What are you doing out here in the woods?
We are camping out. I'm sorry, I don't believe that. Do we know you? And she's like glancing over at Gears, like trying to confirm what's happening.
Oh, I don't think that you do. No, I don't think that you know me at all. I would give you my name, but there's no way you could pronounce it. There's no way. But welcome to the grove. Yes, that is word. And the other three females kind of smile and snicker and nod very politely. We came to see a machine man, Gears. Oh, wondrous. Could you show me how this works? And he kind of leans in, looking very curiously, as if that should not bother you in the least. You see each of them has kind of some sort of wound, twisted belt, not for the purpose of holding up a trouser or a skirt, but more for the purpose of hanging what looks to be a very knotty, that's knotty, Knotty, piece of wood that might serve as a club of sorts, hanging from each of their hips. Show me how this works. Machine man. And he kind of looks up at you and smiles. His eyes twinkle.
Gears keeps working on the blade that's out, holding it up a little to show them how it works. They certainly can't explain it, but they can show the process, and they'll see the blade getting locked back in place on the launching mechanism.
Okay.
and the armor slowly reincorporating around the arm to become a part essentially indistinguishable from the rest of their body.
Oh,
If they push in too closely, they'll pop the right arm blade out under their noses.
when it pops out, they kind of jump back a little bit, surprised. A couple of the females have moved maybe a little closer. And he looks at you. Your friends, they sleep very well. You are tired, yes? This has been a long day for you.
I am not.
Right. Machine Man.
You know much of our day. Why?
Oh, it's not so much why as how. Yes, that is it. How? We know, we see. You are welcome here. We do not wish you any harm.
That is good to know.
The females have begun to kind of move around the camp a little bit, just looking at things, walking around looking at stuff, just absolute curious. Here and there, maybe a giggle,
Careful, don't.
or they don't touch anyone. They don't. Oh yes, hello. What is
She's
it?
just like, don't wake it, don't wake
No.
anyone up.
No.
Okay.
She
Okay, thank you.
She looks at you like. And then as you're sitting there, she stops and stares at you and comes over very close to your face and looks into your eyes. And you would swear, as you look into her eyes, that you see almost like a starry night. There's this depth. It's greenish. And there's this depth into her eyes that is vaguely familiar to you. She looks at you. Oh, dear. You have walked among the dead. I see it in your eyes. You are made of fire, no? Oh, she seems really fascinated and thrilled. Come. And the other two females come.
Once she says this first thing, like if you're just watching, Calavera goes as pale as she can. And probably at this point, like while she's staring, like her hair is probably falling back from like the one eye, and like again you can see that like the one that's usually out and is that like I want to say it's like this glowing orange sort of cover, like the whole thing is covered in that color. It's what's in the portrait. But the other one has this like milky white sheen blocking over top of it that she's usually keeping hidden. And she just looks entirely stunned and not confused, but I think a little afraid. She just
Are you okay? Are you okay, dearie?
She doesn't know what she's saying.
She'll reach forward very slowly, like seeing if it's okay, kind of slowly, and sweep your hair back, your bangs, whatever you call that hair, and look into your eye. Oh, this is not good. You have no sight here.
That is how it's always been. How do you know that?
You must tell us your story, child. Don't you want to hear her story? And the other two are nodding eagerly. The male is still sort of half looking at Gears, but his attention is turned to you as well. You must tell us your story.
And
Yes.
she stops and she looks around at everyone that's around her, like on the ground asleep, like falling on each of them, definitely pausing for a long moment on Fragile. And then she just goes, I do not think that I can, actually. I do not think this is a good idea. Sorry.
let me help you. You just take a deep breath, and if you permit, I can help you. And she kind of reaches out as if she's going to touch your forehead, and she stops and looks you in the eye.
And do you mean that you can? And she just kind of nods
Okay.
slowly, like she can't believe she's doing this.
Okay. Close your eyes for me, child. And she reaches and touches your forehead just so softly. And you feel this warmth, this tingle steal over your forehead and warm down through the front of your face. And the creature closes her eyes, and the other two smile. Gears, you see this. The other two females and the male smile. Do not worry, your friend is safe, he says to you, Gears. Tell us your story, child, she says again, very softly. See, tell us.
And I think there's kind of a moment of quiet before Calavera starts speaking. In life, curious. Now in death, so quiet. You asked so many questions, tugging at my mind whilst I tried to focus. Tormenting my studies, yet so innocent and desirous of knowledge. You practiced dutifully, serving me with errands both mundane and later more complex and arcane. I shall miss you, friend. Your passing served a great purpose for me, so it was your destiny. I know what this is. It is written in the parchment in my handwriting. This is Calaveras Literarias, the school's literature. It is tribute to someone close to me.
They exhale. She keeps her hand. Oh, you've suffered great loss. Oh, child.
I see bleached white. Strange dark runes painted on the skull. Yes, it's a skull. I'm gazing into the empty eye sockets. Bleeding, begging, please come. No, wait. Not begging. Summoning. There's a bright purple flash and then shower sparks arcing all around me. And then I'm on my back. I'm looking up into the dark blue-green empty eyes. The water just washes over me. It's filling my lungs. It's suffocating me. And then there's flames, and there's such just heat. There's flames surrounding me, and then blackness.
Oh, you are trembling. Oh, dearie. You're trembling? What a story you've lived through. Oh, my. She kind of removes her hand. Are you okay, sweet child?
And Calavera just takes a couple steps backwards, and there's tears rolling down her face, and she's just, I don't think I like this story. I don't.
It is. This is your story. You've shared your story with us. Is this something you do not know? You seem confused.
This isn't mine. I think you should be leaving now.
She backs up.
I'm sorry. I think this is enough.
The four of them look at each other. Roll perception, Gears and Calavera.
Okay. Ooh, that's a 15 this time.
That's a natural one.
So Gears, you're kind of like, wow. Calavera, you see them
Very much.
sort of twinkle, and then you look around, and each of them is at a different tree, and then they're gone. And you look around and you see them again, and they're in different trees. Again, this little like sparkle of ash and glitter, green and silver, every time this happens, and then nothing. You hear the snoring of Ronvin, the metallic little puttering of the little sparrow. Algernon muttering some incantation or something.
Summoning a demon to sleep.
You hear cupcakes.
I love these character choices that are being
It
made.
is so quiet right now in camp. And that you now notice that the sun has just started to filter above the peaks of the Dragon Spine Mountains in the east. A few fingers of light shining upon the floor of this grove of trees.
Yeah, I think Calavera just kind of like fiercely like scrubs her face like dry at like the best that she can here. She just like finds a place to sit down where she like gets a good view of the sunrise, and she sits. And she is still like shaking. Just like after she realizes she like fiercely like pulls her hair back in place, and it looks like a mess, but she just sits there.
Gears will pull a blanket up around Calavera.
She startles like really hard before she realizes. She goes, "Thank you, Gears."
Sleep. I can take the rest of this watch. There's not
No.
much more time.
No, I do not think I could. I think I just want to watch another sunrise.
Indeed. Gears will snap their blade of their left arm back in place, and it shoots back in. And they're checking on Spurnick to make sure he hasn't picked up or taken off or anything like that in this little encounter. Behaving for the world like nothing ever happened.
It's quiet. Spurnick is asleep. Everyone else is asleep. Camp is quiet. The sun is slowly peeking through the mountain peaks, through the mountain tops. And morning is come upon the group. It is it's chilly, it's gray, it's cloudy. It's 25 flame rule if anyone's paying attention to the calendar. What would you like to do?
Runwin would like to infuse Gear's armor with enhanced defense, which gives him +1 bonus to his armor class. until I remove it or 3 days after I die. That's how long it lasts.
Nice.
So, yeah, he is probably too shocked from everything that happened, to actually stop there, because she's now officially an armorer. So
Awesome.
she put that little thing right in the middle, and Gira actually realizes, I'm a little stronger, and then she would like to use her second infusion, which is she wants to see if she can touch Rue's other. You got two weapons, right? Two scimitars or one?
I have a short sword and a dagger.
But didn't you get that +1 scimitar? That gears? No. All right. So your short suit will be an enhanced weapon, and you get +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with it.
Okay.
Same rules until I take it off, or 3 days after I die. This is as many that I can do for now.
Nice.
So for you, I probably used one of the smaller gems and set it in the hilt of the short sword to enhance the defense.
Nice. You all have suffered the effects of a long rest. You're obviously all officially now going to enjoy the benefits of being third level characters. How exciting is that? Yeah, so it's morning time. Spurnick awakens kind of with a start, like he's not sure where he is, looks around, watches Al for a few moments, and just kind of hangs his head and sits quietly.
Al's going to wake up, get back into his spell book, but kind of intentionally face towards Spurnick. Be really excited about something he saw in his spell book. And he's going to say to Spurnick in Draconic, if you tell us everything you know, I will honor my part of the deal.
He looks over at you, kind of shrugs. I've told you everything. What more do you want from me? I'm in a cult. We wanted to get the scale. Yeah. That's about it.
In Draconic, Al's going to look at him with a serious look and say, this is your last chance to tell me the truth.
He looks around, kind of paranoid. The rest of you, if anybody hears this, it's this very, there's a lot of X's and Z sounds and, very kind of lizardy, glottal, grunty language going on, this conversation. Spurnick seems to be a little frustrated. If you had to guess from Algernon's visuals, he seems to be making demands or possibly an ultimatum of some kind. Hey, I've told you everything. That we came to get the scale, and dragon scale relic to control a dragon for the cult. He kind of looks around like he doesn't want people to hear him saying it. Go ahead.
Just why?
Do you speak Draconic, Fragile?
Oh, no, I don't. As a matter of fact. Oops.
All good.
Al's going to look at him and say in Draconic, if you're telling the truth, in 8 hours, I'll set you free. He's going to stand up. He's going to walk over to him, wave like a little thing in front of his face
He kind of
and cast suggestion. Hold still.
he's like, "What the hell are you doing?"
And he's going to cast suggestion on him, and in common, he's going to say, "My friend, might I offer you a suggestion? You will tell the cleric truthful answers to all of your questions, and perhaps I shall set you free." And then he's going to have to make a wisdom saving throw. I'm going to use Portent and give him a 4.
Never mind.
So for the next 8 hours, he's going to have to basically answer Calavera's questions truthfully.
Okay. So he fails his wisdom save. So he just sits there, eagerly awaiting questions, I suppose.
And then Al's going to go back to sitting down, just keeping an eye on him.
Do you have more questions for Sparnik, Calavera?
I'm sorry, what?
Al's going to go over and sit next to her. You have been the one to show him kindness. He does not view you as a threat. He will answer your questions truthfully for the next 8 hours. I was hoping that you could question him to see if there is anything else we do not know or he is not telling us.
Oh, right. I'm not sure what I would ask, or does it feel a little weird to be putting a spell on him to make him want to do that? And she looks very clearly out of it right now.
Spurnick looks over at you, Calavera, and smiles politely. This is the first time you've seen him smile. He just kind of regards you politely. Not creepy, like, hey, right? Just politely.
How are you doing?
I have burning hands now,
Yeah,
please.
yeah. Do you come here often? Yeah. Just, there's a difference in his tone and his demeanor.
You are the chance to get anything we may need without him being threatened.
I don't know what else it is that we might need that he wouldn't have already told us.
Maybe ask him if there's anything he hasn't told us yet about the cult or about.
And she goes to rub her face, just kind of aborts halfway through to make sure she isn't messing up where her hair is falling. She's like, Sputnik, is it okay if I ask you a question very quickly?
Yes, of course.
Okay, you don't
He seems almost sunny in disposition. Yes, what is it?
She just gives Al a flat look. You don't have to answer if you don't want to, but is there...
No, I'd really like to.
Is there anything...
Yes?
Is there anything that you haven't told us that might... that might be helpful in us keeping the artifact away from the dragon cult? Just to keep it safe?
Oh, well, of course. Yes. I mean, they're going to kill me when they find out I've told you everything, but yeah, I could tell you. The relic supposedly can, control dragons.
We
But
heard
what
that,
they
yes.
really want to do with it, and he kind of leans in so no one else can hear, what they really want to do with it is they want to get the relic and give it to Scoralworix, the red dragon up in the Dragon Spine Mountains. And he kind of looks, so that maybe he will help the cult.
Do you know what the cult wants him to help with?
I mean, can you imagine having a red dragon at your disposal? Anything they want.
But is there anything specific?
Probably wealth, power. I mean, everything. If you have a red dragon. And there's this almost naivete to his tone. Like, red dragon. Roll insight if you'd like.
I would like. Ooh. That is going to be a 22.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You get the sense that he's like just completely put the cards on the table. He knows they want to give this relic to this red dragon. If it can really bind a dragon to service or servitude, then the dragon would probably like to have it so that can't happen. So you feel like he's just absolutely put his cards on the table. Like they want to win the favor of this Scoralworix.
Mm-hmm. And do you think that it is a good idea to? You think that there isn't a chance that someone else might get a hold of that relic and then, abuse it?
Well, that's why they wanted me to get it, so they could give it to him, and and then he'd be our friend. Then we'd really be a cult of the dragon. But now
and you're sure that
it's buried in the temple. That horrific thing down there.
Scott, sorry, how much of this conversation are we hearing? Is this?
If you're
that
awake
makes
and there,
it
you can.
into-
Any of you can be sitting there listening to this.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of leaned in a couple times to be all sly, but it's not so much like he's trying to hide what he's saying from the group, so much as he doesn't wish to be overheard where he is in the woods, because
Stage whisper.
Scoralworix could be anywhere nearby. In fact, roll perception. No, I'm just kidding.
Why would they? So why would they give him the scale instead of just using the scale to control him? Looking at Calavera for her to re-ask the question.
Yeah.
Are you sure that do you think there could be a chance that maybe the cult would, instead of giving it to the dragon, they would use it themselves?
No, they're going to give it to him. Yeah.
You're absolutely sure about this.
That's what they said, yeah.
And you trust them entirely, even though now that you've talked with us, they might
They're going to kill me.
Kill you.
They're going to kill me.
And you're still trusting their judgment on this.
I don't know how much I trust them, but I'm in the cult and everything, and I just don't know a lot. I just know my job was to find this temple, and stupid tie beam.
And now you don't have the one thing that you knew you were supposed to be doing.
Yeah, my life is forfeit. Yeah, it's over.
I don't think that.
Anything else I can answer for you?
When she glances back at the others.
Are we gonna have bacon today?
Of course.
I would
Of course.
love
I was already planning on it. I got
some
some extra.
bacon.
course, of course.
if you have it.
I will see. If we do, you can definitely have some. Thank you very much for asking. It's very polite. She just looks back at the others. Oh.
His eyes aren't quite doing this, but man, something is amiss here. Yeah, something's amiss here. Yeah. Of course, you know, if they're gonna kill me, they're gonna kill you. You know that, right?
I've already pieced together the possibility.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, as long as just I thought you should know. Okay. Anything else?
Is there a way that they would know that we were there aside from you not being there anymore?
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, unless you left something there that would say like, "Hey, we were here." Yeah.
Did we leave anything back there? That isn't a question
Well, you
for you.
left all
You're
those-
doing wonderful. Thank you.
You left all those dark people there. Remember the people that were all dressed in black and all suspicious looking and.
That isn't Durham, right? That is true. Okay. Do
Yeah,
you
the-
know if there were? Oh no, you go ahead.
The cult's
Take your
not.
time.
They're not going to be happy. Nope. I'm in big trouble.
Do
I'm doomed.
Do you know if there's any other things that they might be trying to do similar to this to try to get favor of some dragons so that they can have dragons help them out to do their very selfish things?
Well, they, I mean, having a dragon as your friend or mascot or whatever, if you're a dragon cult, woo! What more could you want, to have like a dragon
So gonna tell on you.
so loyal to you for, giving it a thing that, this artifact. So who knows what they'll do? I mean, with the dragon, you can do pretty much anything.
And they're also sure that if you were to give the dragon an artifact, that with them keeping it, then they would not be in danger of other people controlling them, that they would definitely stay friendly and not do big, violent, dragony things. You're certain of that, yes?
I don't know what they plan to do, but I just do what I'm told. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I have another question for you, if it is okay.
Oh, great. What else can I help you with?
If you were given the chance, would you choose to go back to the cult? and
No, they're
help
gonna
them out?
they're gonna kill me. No, I can't go back there
Okay.
now. I failed.
Okay, I just had to double check on that. Thank you very much for asking.
I hope you all are good at whatever you do, because they're gonna be mad when they figure out that I didn't wasn't successful. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Again, thank you for asking. I can try to find out about the bacon this morning.
Oh, very good. Thank you. Kind of smiles at you.
And
Yes.
And also, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
For what?
I give it 8 hours,
Kind of looks around.
and she'll
Okay.
she'll go to her rations to look to see if she has any bacon in there.
Bacon. So good. He'll just go back and sit,
Other than
kind of putter around in the fire with a stick, just kind of chilling. He looks over at Algernon and nods. Did what you said, buddy. Kind of winks. Indraconic.
Al's going to give him like more of an acknowledgement of a nod, and just make eye contact and just give him kind of a faint acknowledging nod, but not say anything.
Okay. It's started to rain. It feels like one of those days where, it's probably about 8 in the morning now. It feels like it might be just as warm as it's going to get today. Probably like low 60s, high 50s. It's a little breezy, and it's starting to rain. Not hard, just unpleasant. What would you all like to do?
Go home. Well, not home. Go back. I want to get on the road to Dagger Falls. I don't want Spurnick to be my responsibility for any longer than it has to be.
Calavera very definitely gives it some of the baggage. Yeah, she doesn't have a lot left, but she gives it to him. She feels
Thank you.
not very great about this.
Thank you.
Of course.
I love bacon so much.
It is very good, yes.
He stays quiet. Not as not as sad or forlorn or broken as he appeared to be before Al mind melded him or whatever happened there. Yeah, and you don't have any trouble breaking camp. You come down out of the trees and head west on the road, and it's absolutely completely unpleasant. When you get down out of the trees, it's much more than breezy. It's windy. The rain is actually, the wind is out of the northeast, so the rain is kind of coming from behind you. And so you're wet, most wettest on your backs. And it's a cool rain, so it gets into everything. Right? So you're maybe a half hour down out of the trees, and you feel like you've been trudging along in the rain for 20 hours. Just soaked through, it's wet. You get in a few places where there are some hills, and it swirls around you, wraps around you. It's not pouring down like typhoon rain. It's just a light drizzle, but when the wind whips it, makes it seem worse than it is. And you make your way eastward. Anything you all would like to do while you're on the road?
Are we going east?
Excuse me, west. You are going west. The
West.
rain is pounding at your backs from the northeast. Sorry if I was misleading there. Yes.
No. Oh, groovy. I was making sure I didn't miss something.
So one of the things Gears would like to do is approach Ronvin and ask, with their cloak in hand, you indicated you could repair this. Is this possible? Because it's got these huge rents from where the axe hit, and they seem to want
Yes, she can definitely use mending on it. She said, "Yes, I can fix that for you. Just give me a second. Just give me a second." And she's gonna, cast mending, and she can, fix stuff that is not longer than a foot, and you can't see the damage anymore at all.
Oh, good.
Will this work?
Thank you.
How do you like your new armor? Strong enough?
Much better.
I know.
Thank
Should have
you.
listened to me.
We'll do better.
Yes, we find something new and shiny for you.
Mithril.
Might as well dream big.
They're single-minded. And they bring their cloak back up and hood up, knowing that they're getting closer to civilization once it's fixed. Glaive out, march on.
It's just a gray, forlorn, windy, rainy, cool day. Spurnick walks along quietly. And it's go ahead, Rue.
I will try to have a conversation with Al out of earshot of what's his face, Sparnick. But I'm happy for anyone else to hear it. Are you actually planning on letting him go?
Unfortunately, he is not ours to decide. I may perhaps be willing to speak to the Lord on his behalf for his help in the matter. However, I am afraid Fragile will probably not find that agreeable. Um, and so it shall be up to the Lord.
Right. I mean, I think we all agreed it would be up that we would take him back, and it would be up to the Lord. But you told him that you were going to let him go.
He is a convicted criminal. He shall see the justice. Perhaps his moments of hope can help us possibly bring mercy should he deserve it.
You're saying that if he tells us stuff, it'll maybe mitigate his sentence and be looked on kindly by Dagger Falls.
I believe that as not the murderer, he does not deserve a murderous fate. It is not up to me, but if I can help somebody see that he might not deserve death, I feel I have done him a kindness.
Okay.
So you're making your way westward. The day progresses without incident, and it's hard to tell by the sun because you just can't see it. The clouds are thick and gray, and it's just almost a veil of tears weather-wise. The wind has subsided, which would lead you to believe that it's getting into the evening hours, and it might be time to consider looking for a place to hole up for the evening.
I think Gallivera is keeping an eye out. Hopefully someplace that's drier, maybe.
Yeah. Roll, anybody who's got it, roll survival. Or nature, whichever is better, but survival is probably most appropriate.
14 on survival.
Yeah. You're thinking, Calavera, that, if you can find another spot, much like the one, what you've been finding has been high ground, sort of rocky, but with lots of pine duff, because those pine needles do not absorb water. So, you're thinking, man, if we can at least get on some good pine duff, you can stay reasonably dry versus sleeping on dirt or grass that would most certainly have you soaked through. And, you can easily find a place. Yeah, you can easily find a place, again, if you want to get up atop a hill somewhere. Not as many copses of trees. The further west you go, the further you get away from the foothills of the Dragonspine Mountains. But yeah, you can find a place that's high enough ground, it's fairly rocky, and you can settle and camp. I think with that, let's do this. Let's take like a 5-minute bio, and we'll come back and continue. So don't anybody in the audience go anywhere lest a red dragon named Squirrelworks show up and breathe upon you. And with that happy little thought, we'll be back in 5 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, we have returned from our break, and Ronvin was feeling a little bit under the weather, so she has evacuated the overlay. And I believe we were making camp. Is that what I recall? Okay. So it is 25 Flame Rule evening. The rain has let up, the wind has subsided, and you're just wet from your day. But you did find a place off the road, a little above the road, higher ground, where you can make camp and stay as dry as you're going to stay. Like, you're not going to get more wet. Spurnick has kind of gone sour again. He's back to frowning a lot and looking over his shoulder, and doesn't seem to be quite as jovial as he was maybe 8 or so hours ago.
No. If it's still like before, like go to sleep time before just eating dinner, Al's gonna go sit next to Spurnick, and in Draconic say to him, I too know what it's like to face a punishment beyond your perceived crime. Unfortunately, we cannot let you go. We do not possess the ability to do that. But
what do you mean? You could just, I could just go. Like, turn, look, deer. It's that easy.
It is and it isn't, my friend. This whole thing has gotten bigger than us just finding you. I promise to speak with the Lord on your behalf for the help that you've given us. But at the end of the day, it is not our decision to free you. And I apologize if I led you on.
What happened?
We cannot simply just let you go.
Did I say something? What happened? What's going on?
You were very forthcoming in the last couple of hours. I appreciate that. I feel bad. It wasn't through your own doing, but mine. And I feel that you've truly have told us everything you know. And between what you have told us and your cooperative nature in the return, you have my word. I will speak to the Lord on your behalf.
Your word. Okay. He just kind of sits with a harumph.
Al's going to get up with a little, kind of attempted reassuring pat on the shoulder and kind of go back and join everybody else.
Yeah.
Or at least go back and sit by the fire.
Yeah. Okay. He sits quietly, thinking about all that's been said. So you have a warm fire. It's cool. The clouds are breaking up a little bit. You can see little snips and snipples of stars and, the breaks in the clouds and, but it's chilly. It was definitely a chilly midsummer day, kind of odd for the season. Anything you wish to do before nightfall? The completely safe and not dangerous nightfall?
Nothing bad or dramatic ever happens at night.
The wholesome, pleasant, holiday-ish evening.
Julie, as usual, will take care of Clover before herself.
Okay, nice.
And then we'll wander off somewhere private to have some moments with the Raven Queen. And really, I think that's about all she's going to do. She's kind of not digging the weather. It's kind of ruining her mood.
Okay.
As she's going to move off, Rue will put a hand on her shoulder. Would you mind if I came along? It's totally fine if you would. I am curious about prayer.
You mean you're curious about prayer?
Don't really know much about praying or how it works.
That might be the most peculiar thing I think anyone's ever said to me. I thought everyone prayed to somebody or something.
No, definitely not. You think, what kind of gesture over to Spernick? You think he prays?
I feel like whether it's in a moment of desperation or in a moment of, or a moment, a lifetime of zealotry, that at some point everybody calls upon the gods. Whether it's that the thief who has never prayed to a god and gets caught and calls on somebody for some god for justice, or the god of thievery to help them find a way out of it. I feel like everybody in their own way prays, but I don't know what you're gonna see, but that you think will help you. But as long as you don't aren't planning on interrupting me.
I promise you I will not.
Okay, so Fragile will wander off away from everybody, and she's going to look for a place that has a fallen log or a stump of some sort. And she's going to reach into, she's got a little bag on that she carries on her hip. And she's actually going to pull out this little mahogany box. And she's going to be kind of, maybe not secretive, but I don't think she wouldn't open it and outright show Rue what was in it, but she's going to reach in and she is going to pull out a ring, and she's going to pull out a piece of dirty rag. So I don't know if you want to make a history check or memory. What would a memory check be?
Probably intelligence.
You want to make an intelligence check or not?
Straight intelligence is a 21.
Oh, damn. You clearly recognize that the piece of cloth that I pulled out is the cloth that we had gagged Spernick with. And she's going to get down, and Julie's going to get down on her knees, and she's going to be singing in a language that I don't believe you'd recognize. You don't speak Celestial, do you?
No.
Okay. So she's going to get down on her knees, and she's going to sing in Celestial. And the first song that she sings is gonna have kind of a really, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say a love song, but it's like a song of longing, but it's like got a positive vibe to it, not like a negative, like, oh, I've lost everything in the world. More like I can't wait till I get home to my lover, because nothing in the world is ever going to be as wonderful as being in her arms or his arms. That type of feel to it. And she's singing that. She's gonna have her hand like over top of the ring, and then the song is gonna slowly shift, and the song's gonna take on a feel of angst and desperation and anger. And so it probably will take her about 5 minutes, and it's pretty low key. Like, you wouldn't hear it back in camp. But I would like to think that the emotions that she's trying to put into her songs is really coming out in in her voice, even though you don't understand. It's kind of like when you listen to opera. I feel like you can always feel what they're doing. And then as that's happening, you will notice that the bracelet on her wrist will glow the whole time that she is singing. And when she's done, she's going to take the ring and the cloth and she's going to put them back in her box, and she's going to look at you and be like, that's it. I'm just talking to my mother.
When you look back up at Rue, he is sitting nearby at a respectful distance, and he has the clasps from his the cape that goes over his shoulders. He's holding them in his hand, and watching you. Thank you, and you can probably see his eyes are shining a little bit, like he's a little bit teary-eyed. That was lovely to see.
Really? I've always had to hide it.
Why would you hide it?
Because where I came from, a lot of people worship the Raven Queen, and they would take anything that I said or anything that I did, and they would turn it to twist and use for their own political or even economical gain. If they could say they heard something come out of me that because of my ties to the Raven Queen, then I learned early on that anything that I said that to my mother that was overheard could be twisted and used. And so it's been a very private thing for so long because of how it'd been taken advantage of. So it's nice to hear that.
That's awful. I'm sorry you had to do that.
It is what it is. But look, I wasn't in the city when it fell. So, I'm still here to explore it some more and figure it out. And I have this chance now to commune with my mother. And I know I have to walk off because it makes me feel safe, but I can do it. When I lived in Shade Enclave, there was never a moment where I felt safe. And so all of my prayers were silent and stuck in my head, and I couldn't lend them a voice. And now I can. So this is good.
Does your mother ever speak back to you?
I don't know that she says words to me. I get feelings, senses of approval, senses of sometimes I think she feels that I overstep my bounds a little bit. I'm a little presumptuous, but I don't know. It's just feelings, but I'm pretty certain of the feelings. I think it's hard to get the Raven Queen to communicate in the way that mortals are used to communicating. So, yeah.
Some of my earliest memories are of my mother singing, much like some of your songs were, to a
Really?
monitor.
Monitor. Oh. Was she a cleric, or was she just a goodly woman?
She was a cleric, yes. His was, I don't know. I've not seen her in a very long time.
How tragic. Well, is she still alive?
I don't know, but it was great hearing songs of worship again. I I really appreciate you letting me listen in on that.
You're all right, Rue. She
Thank
says
you.
there's something to your story. I haven't figured it out yet, but there's something cool to your story that I'm gonna figure it out. And I'm gonna sing that to my mother too. Hopefully, it's not like the second part of that last one.
What's that about?
I was the Raven Queen thrives on strong emotions,
Mhm.
and most people think it's just sorrow, and she does because a lot of people feel sorrow at death. But she also thrives on any emotion. It could be the emotion of a lover who is waiting for their better half to return, or it can be the fear and certain dread as somebody who's committed something heinous is about to face when they get judgment. And so I don't know what Spurnick's feeling now, but um, I could feel his fear and his anxiety in the room with the zombies when we caught him, and when the uh, Zentaran turned him over to us or left him to us. And so that's part of it. I know some people might see that as warped, but every emotion is a valid emotion. And I feel like all of it's part of growing and learning and understanding, well, hell, everything. Unfortunately, life's not all roses and sunshine.
Well, yes, I certainly hope that I never attract your ire like that song. That does not seem like it would go very well for me.
But that wasn't my emotion. That was his. I hope you never have his emotions. That's my hope for you.
Fair enough.
All right. We should probably wander back a little bit.
Agreed.
And maybe as we go up the road a little bit, you can tell me a little bit about who Rue really is. And she kind of winks at you and skips off a little bit.
Yeah, we'll just do
Nice. Yeah, so you return to the fire circle.
Al's just going to be standing or sitting by the fire, um, just still engrossed in his spell book, and just kind of sadly at Spurnick. He definitely feels bad. He lied to him. And is trying to do his best to kind of reassure Spurnick as best he can that he will actually work for, do what he said.
Is he speaking in Draconic?
Yeah.
He doesn't really respond much. He kind of nods and just mutters. Gears, what you up to?
Here's is just about examining the campsite, making sure that Spurnick is safely squared away, walking patrol for lack of anything better to do, looking for something to keep themselves busy.
Okay. Yeah, you don't notice anything out of the ordinary. It's quiet. The rain seems to have chased away any wildlife that you'd been seeing here and there, and it's breezy, cool. It's quit raining, but it's pretty quiet. Calavera?
Calavera spends a little bit of time. She's, been quiet the whole day. I think she spends some time using Produce Flame to try to dry herself off the best she can, because it turns out being wet and cold and miserable really sucks when you're, fire.
Yeah.
I could see that not being awesome.
Yeah, and then after a bit, when she notices that everyone's kind of doing their own thing and off and alone, she'll take some time. She'll set the fire down. So she probably just puts on her shoulder or something, because it doesn't hurt her at all. It just kind of sits there, and she'll reach into her bag, pull out her big leather book, and she'll just quietly start flipping through the ruined pages and just spend some time looking through that.
Okay.
Seeing what she gets.
Okay. Yeah. So it's quiet. The evening comes upon you, and you can settle into your watches. Again, you get little glimpses of the starry night above as the fire burns down. The wind has died down nicely, and it's much more comfortable than it was earlier in the day. I presume you'll do the same series of watches, Al and Ronvin, Rue and Fragile, and Gears and Calavera. Okay. Does anybody have any RP they'd like to accomplish this evening as we cycle through watches?
Yeah, I think after Rue and sorry, I'm blanking even though you just said it. Who's on the
Fragile.
team? Fragile, thank you. Yes, duh. After Rue and Fragile's shift, Rue is going to go back to his his bed like he usually would, and just kind of lay there for maybe half an hour or so, until it seems like Fragile is settled in and hopefully asleep. And then he's going to go over to where Calavera and Gears are. Calavera, could I have a word with you?
Oh, Gears, will you be okay watching everyone? Thank you.
Yeah, we're just gonna step away. We won't be far.
Is everything okay?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah, yes, of course. Gears, I guess we'll be right back.
Indeed.
Okay.
So Paige and I had this conversation out of band, offline, so that we didn't do it all.
Because it took like an hour.
Yeah. So yeah, basically we would just go off for about 30-40 minutes or so, and then come back.
They have secrets. Okay. Yeah, and Calavera and Gears, your watch concludes uneventfully, and it is now the morning of 26 Flame Rule. your third day away from Temple of the Scale. You know you have today, tomorrow, and then the day after tomorrow should find your way back into Dagger Falls. The day dawns brightly, clear. It feels like the warmth is going to make a serious appearance today. It's humid. The air mass from yesterday is still there, but now the temperature is with it. So you're already just breaking camp. You feel clingy and a little sweaty, and it's pretty close, pretty muggy. Going to be a hot one.
Joy. Who's this? Who's that page? Is it good?
Yeah.
She's like all about it. Yeah. Got some fire genocide.
I don't mind hot. It's when you're all smuggy and sticky. As it warms up, Fragile will remove everything that she can while still feeling like she's armed and armored.
Yep. Yeah. So you break camp easily enough and get back on the trail westward. And true to the DM's description, as the sun climbs in the sky, you just feel your neck sizzle under the humid, beating sun. It's a warm one. It's humid. Everybody's kind of sweating, wiping their brow. And you look ahead of you on the path, and you see a group coming toward you. Looks like a number of people. There are people on horseback. Looks like as they get, maybe within 50, 60 feet, looks like there may be a wagon or two. Yeah, so it appears that maybe a small caravan is making its way in your direction on the trail. What would you like to do?
Should we stand to the side? Should we? Should.
Would we know, is this unusual?
I mean, it's a traveling route, so I feel like it's not like.
Seems normal to me.
As they get closer, Fragili's going to step off the trail.
Yeah.
And when she steps back onto the trail, she is going to have blonde hair, and all of her gear is going to have kind of a shimmery look. What color were the guards and
So let me give
Dagger Falls wearing?
Gosh, I don't remember the colors right offhand of their livery. Let me see if I can pull it up here real quick, sir. There we go. Bear with me here. What are the rest of you all doing as I pull this up?
Al's going to pull his wizard hood over his head and kind of nonchalantly get away from, I guess, wherever, as we're traveling on the road, eventually we kind of pass side by side probably. Al's going to be on the, is further away from the party coming in our direction, looking very nonchalant. We're trying to.
Just kind of standing here on the road, looking all nonchalant. I got you. Okay. What about you, Gears? Go ahead, Ruth. Yeah, whatever. Somebody.
Gears is sinking deeper into their newly mended cloak and hood, and bringing their glaive up to sort of a ready position, but moving off to the side and keeping Spurnick sort of at his sight behind their bulk.
Okay.
There's no obvious reason to anyone to suspect. They hope that we have a captive that we're taking back.
Yep. Rue, what were you doing?
I think I'm just I'm watching them, but trying to seem very casual about it. But just, hey, hi, how you doing? Just very friendly.
Very well. and finally Calavera.
I think Calavera just kind of goes along to the side like everyone else does. She's like, why do we need why do we have the weapons out? We don't need. Gears, I think you can put that away. I.
So they roll up on you. The heraldry, Fragile, if you recall now, it's a dagger. And around the blade of the dagger, it's like a giant gold ring is, slipped over the blade of the dagger. So it's the ring and dagger. And the pommel of the dagger is actually like a serpent with its head at the end of the pommel with a red forked tongue. And the hilt itself is light green, like a snake might be. And then they would have that kind of across their chest on a black tabard.
So I'm going to do my best to make what I'm wearing look like the livery of a guard from Dagger Falls.
Very well. Okay, so as they approach, you see three cloaked and hooded, dark cloaks, hoods, probably large men, humans, on dark horses in front, kind of abreast, side by side. You can see through them that it looks to be two humans, a male and a female, on the buckboard of the first wagon, and there's a horse pulling it. And then there's another wagon behind it, and another dark horseman behind that wagon. And it looks like maybe there's a horse tied to the rear wagon. So again, three what look to be mercenaries. You would recognize right away that these are more Zentarum, by their symbolage, by their dark cloaks. They're not disguising themselves at all. And then it looks like maybe merchants, maybe husbands and wives or siblings or something, male, female. And the wagons themselves are sort of canvas covered, rectangular, like there's a frame inside and then there's canvas. They appear to be covered, and the folks pull up. Hey, 'tis a fine day, although a bit warm.
Wiley,
And yes.
Does it seem like there's anything unusual in their mannerisms? Do they seem like they're just calm and
They're headed east. Yeah, they're headed east on the trail. They're not making any particular haste. They're riding along. It looks like the front is the front guard and the back is the rear guard, and it looks like two merchant wagons, if you had to guess based on what little information you have. Yeah.
Okay, so no unusual body language or anything.
No. Nothing. No, nothing at all. So they roll up on you, and the one Zentarum kind of holds a dark gauntleted fist. Hey, look what the cat dragged in.
Oh shit.
Who is he holding it up towards?
He held it up, and the group behind him stopped. So it was kind of a signal to stop progress.
There's something we can help you with, friends?
And you have a message in Zoom, Andrew. No, just maybe make way so we can be through here and on our way.
Oh, absolutely. And Fragile will lead Clover over to the edge of the road.
They just sit and watch on their horses. You see, let me see here. As far as leather armor, looks like they each have maces and heavy crossbows. These are the guys on the horses. It's tough to see exactly what's going on, on the folks on the cart, since the three horsemen are in the trail between you and them.
I'm just gonna start leading Clover past them and kind of give a nod to Gears, like, come on, bring Spurting. Let's just keep moving.
Where are you making for there,
Moves on.
folks? He kind of watches you, walk down the side on the grass, kind of past the wagons. He kind of turns his horse.
Back to Dagger Falls.
Hey. All right, then.
It's good.
What are the rest of
Keep
you
on
all
going.
doing? What are the rest of you all doing?
Get walking.
Yeah.
Dude,
Keep moving.
Let's go.
They kind of move to the side to let you pass. You notice, I'm trying to think who would know this best. Ronvin kind of puts her finger to her mouth. Harrowdale. She sees some livery on the canvas on the side of the wagons, and it's let me get it here. It's a sword with a silver blade, kind of going. The pommel is, if you're looking at it, bottom left, and it looks to be kind of a scimitar with a hook on the back side of the blade. There's a gold. It's called a quillin. It's the guard above the hand with a gray grip, silver pommel, and then a black. The sword is laid across this black. It's called a maunch. It's like a lady's sleeve where it's puffy out toward the end, and then there's a bend where the elbow would be, and then it goes up to the shoulder. The sword and maunch, Ronvin kind of says under her breath, yeah, Harrowdale. You're from Harrowdale, eh? And he kind of, the lead horseman kind of eyeballs her and nods. And as you pass by, you see on the buckboard a male and female, you would assume merchants. They're decently dressed for travel, certainly not finery. They're wearing, one has a light blue cloak, the other one, the lady, has a light green cloak, and they sort of nod and smile. And as you pass by, you see the second wagon also has the same heraldry on it, the sword and maunch of Harrowdale, one of the other Dale communities. And again, a similar sight, clothed in traveler's clothes, some folks that look like maybe merchants. Anything you say or do as you go around? Anybody, anything? Anything? Nothing?
I was going to be on the other side of Clover, so people were passing Clover, Al, head down, or hood drawn down, absolutely trying to not attract any attention to himself.
Okay. Anybody else? Golly.
Nope. Just completely casual. Just keep
Nothing
moving.
nothing to see here. Okay. They eye you. The rear guard moves up close to the side of the wagon that you're passing on, forcing you even wider, and eyeballs you, gives you the stink eye. These guys are definitely...
Is he eyeballing all of us?
What's that?
Is he eyeballing all of us?
All of you are kind of passing along single file, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's giving each one of you the eyeball.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's rolling perception. Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't say anything,
Fine.
doesn't regard you at
Yeah.
all, no matter, if you say anything, he doesn't,
We're a friendly type.
Are
And
these
that-
cargo wagons?
It would appear so.
Do I notice him eyeballing us?
He's looking you over. He's
Sorry.
clearly, they're clearly probably guarding this caravan, and they're making sure nothing crazy happens as you walk by.
It's not a hostile look. He's just like studying us, right?
It's not friendly. Nobody's smiling.
Okay.
They're just giving you the eye.
Good.
the wagons running heavy? No, if they were running empty, they would be later on the
Heist.
road.
It's hard to tell. Right now they're stationary, so it's really hard to tell. I would say roll perception if you wish when they begin moving. Once you pass, if you'd like to do that, you could do that.
Sure.
Anybody else? Anything you'd like to do?
19.
19.
Yes.
Okay. So as you all clear and get back into the roadway, the fellow on the rear guard turns his horse to face you. As you hear a voice, something was said, and the caravan begins to move eastward. Something came from in front of the first wagon, probably told him to get moving. And you would guess that there is probably a fair amount of weight in those wagons. The way they're not bouncing at all. Like if they were empty, like you said, the wheels, one wheel might even pop up over a rock or, and leave the ground. These things look to be laden.
Cool. Gears just lets him go and keeps on going down the road.
Nothing else. Very well. They roll on. And your
Desperate
day
for us to take his
your
father.
your day continues. I'll just put this piece of paper with all the writing on it over here. And I'll continue dungeon mastering as you head to the west, ignoring my caravan encounter entirely.
So bad now.
Don't worry about it. It was only a
We
couple
don't-
couple
your
million
business
Their
goes
stuff.
wrong.
We don't want
couple million
we don't want
platinum
to-
and 3
Pardon?
Vorpal swords and
Yeah.
a spell book with 12th level divination spells in it. Nothing. Yeah,
We're fine. We can keep going. It's fine. It's fine.
nothing to see here. Nothing at all.
At all.
So yeah, so you continue on your way. It is just smoking hot, man. It's oppressive. But beyond that, it's another uneventful day.
Okay.
And it is now the evening of 26 Flame Rule. You know that you have 2 more sleeps tonight and tomorrow. And the third day, you'll find your way into Dagger Falls.
Dagger Falls.
Yeah, so you can make camp if you wish. Spurnick has been just
Yeah.
resigned to silence and his own thoughts. He eats if given food. He doesn't, say much. He's kind of back to sauerkraut. Spurnick. Okay, so you are able to once again find a nice place to camp. There's a lot more, you're into grasslands now. The Tesh River is a little closer to the road to your left, which is south. There are places when you can hear it running, rocks and rapids and things. Y'all still have your sheep with you, I presume?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Picked up a few sheep,
They're just hanging out.
couple sheep, and then the mule, Clover. Okay, yeah. So you're gonna make camp.
Those sheep have seen some stuff.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good. You can do that. It's it's nighttime. You're gonna hit your usual. Oh hey, thanks for the raid, Mr. Bevers, a Magic the Gathering friend of mine that I've known for a long time. Good to see you, brother. Another Canadian in the house, Gears. Yeah. So welcome, raiders. At any rate, it's time to set camp and set watches. So I presume Ronvin and Al will take first watch.
Yes.
Excellent. Y'all want to roll a perception? I'll roll for Ronvin.
I'm going to cast Dark Vision just to help out. We're encountering people. We're probably closer to town. Might more likely to be stumbled upon. So I'm going to cast Dark Vision on myself. It lasts for 8 hours before I do my perception. So if that
Nice.
changes anything.
Yeah, go ahead. Roll your perception.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh no. That's going to be a 6.
Yeah. It seems all quiet. Again, we're back to you found yourself a nice little copse of trees. Again, there's a lot of evergreens out here. You know, it's rocky soil, evergreens and aspens again. And it's, typical from before, squirrels and blue jays, nothing too frightening or too crazy. And it's 3 hours of your life passes by uneventfully. And you're able to awaken Rue and Fragile for their watch. I'll take perception rolls from the two of you. I just want to see if you notice the troll army coming back over the back of the hill.
Certainly did not.
I got a 19.
Perception. Oh, +0, so that's a straight 9.
Okay, that's fair. All right, and you said 19, Rue?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So again, it's hazy, a little cloudy. It's almost like the trees are radiating warmth from how hot it got today. And as you're sitting there quietly, Fragile, you're probably just lost in thought, all the things that have happened the last few days. Rue, you hear the distinctive sound of a branch snapping north of camp, probably not too far away.
Really? You hear that?
What?
There's something just snapped off in that direction.
She's going to take off as quietly as she can in that direction.
Okay, roll me stealth for Julie.
I'll go along with her.
Okay, yeah, each of you roll stealth for me.
Remember that I do have dark vision.
Okay, and it is dark.
Up to 60 feet.
Yep.
Stealth, I have +2, so that's 17.
Okay, how'd you do, Rue?
I got an 11.
Okay. Yeah, so you're sneaky along, and Rue, you step on a pine cone, and it crushes. It's not incredibly loud, but for the fact that you're trying to be incredibly quiet, so it sounds like an avalanche just came down the hill. And
I would have pulled a log from the fire, and I've got that.
Okay.
Just so I have a little bit of light.
Okay, that's fine. Maybe hang back behind Fragile a little bit.
Fragile's gonna stop and look back at him like, damn.
Sorry, can't see very well.
As as Rue kicks the pine cone away, Fragile, you see a flash of warm light, warm energy, the body of a mammal of some sort, and it crosses the path in front of you. Apparently the sound spooked it. And it bounds across the path in front of you and off into the darkness. And if you had to guess, it was probably a deer or maybe an elk, small elk, that took off into the brush. And you both heard it.
Okay, I'm gonna still stealthing back to Rue and tell them they think it was a deer.
Oh,
I'm going to hang out here, though, and watch for a minute.
Okay. Roll perception as you sit and watch for Julie.
Another 9.
Okay.
Apparently, I'm a
So
little
you're
lackadaisical.
sitting there watching, and you're tired. It's been a trying few days. A lot of emotion, a lot of anger. And you see, you first you hear it. The loud snap of a branch again, only it sounds like a heavier snap. And maybe 20 yards further up, you see the large form of a very large, warm-bodied, warm-blooded mammal lumbering off in the direction that the deer bounded. And if you had to guess, it was probably a very large bear.
Well, as long as I saw the bear going in the other direction, we'll just let him keep right on going.
And you're kind of thinking you're glad you decided not to follow that deer because it seemed like maybe that bear had been sitting there watching the game trail, watching the animals, and you might have become a delectable morsel.
No,
But-
thank you.
But yeah, you sit and watch, and it ambles off through the brush. It makes a pretty good crunch crunch as it goes, and the forest grows quiet again, or the copse of trees, the woods that you're in, the thicket grows quiet.
Okay.
I will
The-
sleep
go
so
ahead.
much better when we get back to town.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll make it.
Everything in these woods wants to mess with us or eat us or something. This is in character.
Yeah.
The rest of your watch passes uneventfully. It's quiet. Just for the jays and the crows, or maybe they're ravens. You don't know. It's hard telling. They're so black. And you're able to wake Calavera and Gears for their watch.
Okay.
And Rue and Fragile, I
And I'll
presume
let
you
them know
go.
about the,
Oh yeah. Good.
yeah, and I'll let them know about the bear.
Right, the bear. Right, we can. Yeah.
Great.
Before I go to sleep, I'm going to take a few minutes to sit and write out a little note on a piece of parchment and shove it back in my probably not pocket.
Very well. Yep. Understood. Roger that. So I presume that Rue and Fragile go back to sleep to complete their long rest, and Calavera and Gears,
Yeah.
you are on watch. Would you roll perception for me?
I can. A 14.
Natural 1 for a 4.
Nice. All right. So I'm going to invite Calavera, Gears, Rue, and Algernon to remove their listening devices. And when I give you the thumbs up, you can put them back on. For Geely, you're going to keep yours on.
Okay.
Good. All right. So, Fragile, you lay there, again, reflecting on the events of the past few days, the undead, the white, the ghasts, the zombies, the angst. And you for the first time in a couple nights, you find yourself with a fitful sleep. You fall asleep, and you slumber quite deeply. Feels like maybe your time with your mother has helped you. Maybe sharing your faith with another has helped you. And so you feel the angst slip away and you drift into a deep slumber. And your eyes flutter open as you sleep there, but it's your eyes and your mind. It's not actually your eyes. And a vision awakens your resting consciousness. You're in the dense, very dense, dark pine forest. Think like the Black Forest in Germany. Dense and dark.
Okay.
The fresh smell of rain upon your senses. And you're walking slowly, just feeling the dark emotion of this place. This cold mist wraps around your dark form. You're in a dark cloak, your dark leather armor. This place is not familiar to you. It's not a place you've been before. But there's this sense, this familiarity with you, the sense that you're accompanied by an entity very close to your soul, very, very familiar to you. And as you stand in this dark pine woods, just soaking in the feeling, the emotion of this place, silently, almost startling you, a dark, large raven settles upon your shoulder, and you instinctively reach your arm out almost like a falconer would. And the bird croaks and steps out onto your arm, giving this majestic jet black bird a place to perch comfortably. And it turns and regards you. You know how birds kind of step and turn around? And it faces you. Fragile, it hisses very softly.
She'll gasp.
Fragile,
Yes.
the dark mistress beckons you to her aid. And it kind of cocks its head like birds do and looks, its cold, dark, beady eyes gaze deeply into yours. She bids you to be wary of your surroundings. For a strange magic has fallen upon the land where you're traveling. Things there are not as they appear, because a rare and powerful relic has been brought into Faerun from another place. The relic doesn't belong and must be found and returned to the place it belongs before it causes irreparable harm. And it kind of shakes its head like birds are prone to do, kind of preens itself in its shoulder. Look around you, be aware, center your attention where inexplicable events have begun to transpire. There you will find this relic, for it shall reveal itself if one is observant. It drives strong emotion, confusion, and discord. Yet it is a thing of beauty, a thing of value, treasured as a prized item by its current owner. You will need to somehow wrest it from this owner and return it to its home.
Where's its home?
It kind of cocks its head and looks at you. That you will discover. You will need the strength and cunning of your friends, and possibly the wisdom of someone much more powerful than the people near to you. We don't know how this item came to be in Faerun, but it is confirmed here somewhere and must be returned. You and
Somewhere as in right here in Dagger Falls.
It is in this region. You will know if you remain observant. You and your friends will be doing the region a great boon by ridding them of this relic before its effects can take hold. For the effects will be severe and cannot be reversed.
I would like to make an insight check to. I want to know if I feel like I'm being duped or if I feel like this is
Yeah, go ahead.
really.
Yeah. And as you
Oh,
stand...
very nice. What
Go ahead.
would it be? Insight or is that what it be?
Insight, yeah, 100% insight, yeah.
16.
Yeah. As you stand there contemplating the raven, it immediately flutters away noiselessly up into the trees and vanishes from your arm, vanishes from sight. With a 16 insight roll, you know for sure, there is not a doubt in your mind. You've been visited, you've communed with the Raven Queen. You've been visited by her messengers before, and you have just been visited by her messenger again. There's no doubt in your mind that your patron
Gosh, why would.
has reached out to you.
Why is she interested in. All right, so I got now my brain is churning, even though I'm asleep. Okay.
This vision, you feel the mist wrap further around you, and the whole vision just obscures into this mist. You know how when you're in that fog, the kind of fog you don't want to turn your brights on, right?
Yeah.
August
Yeah.
fog, right? School canceled fog. It's that dense, and when you bat your eyes, you find yourself rubbing your eyes, and you look around and you see your traveling companions all sleeping. You see Gears sitting with the crossbow across his legs, like he does when he's on watch. You see Calavera rocking herself quietly on a log in thought as they take their watch. Everything appears to be just as you left it not that long ago when you laid down to rest. And you're able to close your eyes and fall back to slumber.
Okay. Wow. So am I the only one in here right now?
Yeah, I'm going to give him the thumbs up to come back.
Okay.
Yay.
Is everybody back? All right. So it is the third watch. What were our rolls for Calavera and Gears for perception during their watch?
Here's got a nat 1 for a total of 4.
Yeah. You're so
And I'd gotten a total of 14.
okay. So Gears, you are so engrossed in oiling your crossbow mechanisms and making sure the string is still in good shape, and the mechanism the triggering mechanism, counting your bolts and counting them again. Calavera, you see a large raven at one point come down and land on a tree in one of the pine boughs, kind of low above the party. And as silently as it arrived after a few minutes, it silently beats its great wings and makes its way off through the sparse little thicket. The only thing you really notice out of the ordinary is at one point after the raven leaves, Fragile sits up and wipes her eyes, kind of looks around, lays back down, rolls over, and all is quiet. And that is where we're going to end our session this evening. And I'd like to give mad props to Manny for playing a sleeping divination wizard so convincingly during that last segment. Crushed it, my dude. Yeah, well done. All right, great. So let's go around the horn, and we'll go ladies first. Calavera, just tell us a little bit about who you are, where we can find you, what you're up to.
Hey, hi. Again, I'm Paige. You can find me on Twitter at KeylineCutieBie. I don't really do much. I just kind of hang out. Sometimes I'll reblog some stuff about different tabletop systems that I find or different podcasts that I'm really into. Outside of doing this on Mondays, I have a couple of home games that I do with friends. I have a Starfinder campaign that we're finally getting to do ship combat that I'm super excited about. The Pathfinder game I'm going through. It's a lot of fun. I'm doing a lot of tabletop these days. Aside from that, I work in a lab doing scientist stuff. Yay!
Doing lab
Yay,
things.
scientist stuff.
Yay!
It's pretty cool.
Nice. All right. Very good. Rue.
Hey everyone, I'm Andrew, aka Fellowship of the Tables, Fellowship OTT on Twitter, where I mostly just retweet stuff. Yeah, I don't do a whole lot of stream stuff other than this. Everything else I do is mostly unstreamed, but I may be taking on a project for 2021. So stay tuned.
Projects are good.
We'll see.
They're exciting. Can't wait to hear about that. Fragile.
Yeah, I play Fragile, and obviously got to see a little more into her tonight. She is the ever-growing, trying to figure out the world Asimar of the Raven Queen. In the real world, I am Buckethead Clunk on most of my media. It's Buckethead Clunk with a backwards R if you're looking for me on Discord. That just has to do with another game that I'm playing for identification purposes. And I have been playing D&D on and off since, oh my gosh, 85. So been doing it for a while now. As an adult, I have DM'd for about 10 years now with a local group, and we're presently in getting ready to fire our Core Mirror campaign back up. We took a little hiatus for a couple of months, and I just got to be a player for a change, which was nice. And I teach science in a small school in Western Ohio.
Nice. Glad to have you aboard, sir.
Yay, science.
Ooh, yay science.
Yay, science.
Ooh,
Yay, science.
so much science. All the science. Al.
My name is Manny, at Growed Up Geeks, or at Growed Up Geek on all the social medias. When I'm not playing here in this awesome game with these awesome people, I run a home game concluding Storm King's Thunder currently. And coming in January, I will be launching my own stream of Rime of the Frost Maiden. So
Nice.
for that, and I am super excited for it.
Yeah, looking forward to that, man. Are you going to be DMing that?
Yes, sir.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, get us the particulars and we'll be promoting you, bud. All right. Very good. Last but not least, Gears.
Hey, Dave. Hey, Wilson on most social medias, primarily on Twitter. I am playing Gears, the Warforged fighter, and it's been a fun night. Thank you all. Great role play, a couple of good quiet sessions, and Calavera knocked it out of the park today. Otherwise, in real life, I do stuff to things. I think one manager told me I do that anyway, whatever. Yeah, I think he was just jealous. I work primarily in IT, implementing commercial off-the-shelf software to help people with their document records management needs, which is not as exciting as I just made it sound.
Nice. All right. Wonderful. Well, I'm Scott, Wily Hobbit on all the Twitches and Discords and stuff, Twitters. We play D&D here on Monday nights at 7:30, of course, and then Wednesdays at 7. We have another Faerunian campaign, Dragon of Icespire Peak, that's published adventure. This is a little more... Some of the content, the core content is published, but it's kind of a homebrew patchworky thing that's just unfolding as we go. And then on Sundays, we play Pathfinder 1E. Wu-Tang Pinglet is DMing us through the, traipsing through the hither and thither of Greyhawk, one of the old campaign settings for Dungeons & Dragons, and that runs at 1 o'clock on Sundays. Super excited and proud. You can see the logo to my... that way. Jasper's Game Day Ambassador, which means we're going to be doing some fundraising and some awareness raising for suicide prevention. So thank you very much for dropping that in there, Mr. Moderator. So keep an eye out for exciting stuff. We're going to be doing some gaming for donations and so forth as we round the corner into this year and into 2021. So thanks for everybody coming around and hanging out. We'll be back, I think, next Monday probably. And, man, that was pretty intense tonight. So great work. Sure do love playing D&D and stuff with you all. Yeah, so I'm going to launch a raid into one of my most bestest friends on the entire internet. Her name is Ms. Misery, and according to her little messaging, it's, what does it say here? The most boring stream ever. So let's go over and see if that's actually the case. So we're going to raid my friend Ms. Misery. She is playing, I think it says Stardew Valley. So thanks for hanging out, and we will see you all next time.